Here we go. Hey everybody, I am Trisha with Turpinoff Photography. This is Coffee Talk, getting to the nitty gritty of branding and marketing with Joanne Johnson, On Purpose Marketing, and Diana Cordero, Design. Woo! All right, so today, I know, today we're going to be having conversations about your website and opt-ins for that website. And really what the three of us are doing, getting together and talking about this, is we feel responsible to help you understand where you start and how you get to the places that make you successful. So we're going to start with Miss Diana. She's going to talk about website, and we're going to chime in with our good advice.
I know. Oh my goodness, I get to start this morning. We're all capped up already.
That's right.
Yeah. So right now your website is, well, first of all, you are the most important person. You're the first piece of your business. You're out meeting people. You're selling yourself. You're selling your business, whatever it is you're doing. And then your website is your next best friend. So it's your online presence. It's your, it's a place people go to. I mean, we're not passing out business cards anymore. So, and it doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be complicated. You need to, you need to have a marketing plan and you need messaging, and then working with a designer, we can come up with, imaging, design, organize it, make it look really understandable. So you can start, there's landing pages, which are typically focused and specific, on one simple, clear call to action. And then your homepage is your first look, and you can just have a homepage and about. You don't even need an about. Your about can be on your homepage, and then a contact page is always a good thing to add with your call to action button. So your homepage, it's always about your potential customer, and then think of it like your shop window, like a storefront window. So it needs to entice people, so they want to look deeper. I want to know more about this, so I'm going to click. And then it brings you deeper into your website, but it doesn't have to. So some of the pitfalls when people design, or when they're designing, businesses don't focus on the important stuff. So they'll tell people all about the characteristics of their service or product. People don't really care about this. They want to know that the business will solve their problems and improve their life. Businesses don't communicate their message clearly. So website has less than 15 seconds to capture a visitor's attention. And a lot of what they see is subconscious. It's not always, some of it's conscious and some of it's subconscious. And then the second, the third is just, there's a bad product, which doesn't solve anybody's problem.
So what you're saying is,
and there's not much, me as a designer can do about that.
Exactly. Well,
anyway,
wouldn't you agree, Diana, that you've got to start, and we talked a little bit about this in our first coffee talk, is that you've got to start by understanding who you are as a brand. Mm-hmm. And you've got to understand what stories you're going to tell. And I have to tell you, over this last week, I have gotten just like banged over the head with stories. It's like every event that I'm attending on Zoom, every person I talk to, somehow stories comes up. And I know that we've got to get better at telling those stories. And I think sometimes we jump the gun, because marketing's very important. I mean, it is the lifeblood of your business. But if you don't have your foundation built, understand your brand story, and understand how to get those stories out, like you said, figuring out the pain points of your clients, the website, that's not where you start first. It's funny, every time I talk to someone new in business, they want to talk about they talk about website and marketing. And I'm always like, whoa. Like, do you have your policies and procedures in place? Do you understand what your brand is? And because the website and the marketing is all the sparkly stuff that we are like, woo.
Yeah, it's the second thing that people, you need to be meeting people, talking to people, and then they can go there and learn more about what it is you do. And it kind of, legitimizes yourself too. But going into the storytelling. So your customer should always be the hero of your story, not your brand. There's just a whole bunch of sorry, I actually have a thing on storytelling here. So you think of it like a movie script in a way, when you're telling your story. So you've got your customers, your hero of the story. They have a problem, which is the villain. So they're going to either Google the problem or ask for referrals. And then the business meets the professional, and the professional has empathy and, learning the why and what it is they're looking for. So they give them a plan, which, and then there's a call to action. And then we want a happy ending to our story, we want success at the end of it. So, and the customer is then the hero, and they purchase your product, or you help them avoid failure or making a bad decision. So
that's cool. That's a cool analogy.
Yeah,
I
it's kind of
love
a neat.
that.
Yeah, just a neat little analogy I'd found and presented somewhere else. But your homepage you want it to tell your story as well, and you want to do it simply, because remember, you have 15 seconds. You want a simple headline, a simple graphic or photograph, engaging images. You want to engage them, and short text. I know somebody recently asked me, I thought you had to have 300 words or something with the Google analog. I don't even know. You just want it short, sweet, and simple.
Right.
People can click on your links and read more about the product or service if they want to. But pages of text, they're not going to read it all. And it needs to be understandable. You can read it pretty easy. And then testimonials are good. So go ahead, Donna.
What do you think about
or Joanne? Why did I call you Donna? Oh my gosh, because you just look like a friend of mine named Donna.
What do you think about video on the homepage? Like putting a short video about it kind of brings out the know, like, and trust factor better, and you can give them a clear call to action.
I think that it will catch attention and engage people. So if it catches your attention and engages you, then you're sucked in. It's great.
Right.
So so I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's important too. I agree. Well, and it's Joanne, what was it that Kim Yancey said about your website?
Oh yeah, he said, I love this. He said, think of your website as your VP of marketing.
Yes, I loved that.
Isn't that awesome?
So it's your second person, and it's working for you 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should be, it should be making some money for you.
Right.
And I think it's important going back to the foundations and knowing who you're talking to, right? So when you're clear on who you're talking to, then it will be attractive to them. You will say the right things. It will bring them in because you're talking to that person. And knowing your story, because it's a VP of marketing, knowing your story, especially in this day and age where everything's on Zoom now, we're not meeting as much in person as we used to. You don't have the opportunity as much to tell your story in person. So your website really needs to have that on there. And so then so that you are consistently putting your story out there so that people know what that is and what you're about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So kind of, I guess, in conclusion, so successful, it's going to capture your visitor's interest in less than 5 seconds, and then about 15 seconds from there. And there's 3 questions.
No pressure.
3 questions. I know, this always shocks people. And I guess it shocked me too when I started looking at statistics. So people consciously and subconsciously are going to ask themselves, what do they do? How can they help me? And what do I have to do to buy or engage? So those are like 3 major things that you gotta grab. You have to have your call to action too, which is your buy or engage. So so that's just kind of a quick little outline of it. And I guess the other thing, it's good. I really recommend hiring a professional. Because I've come across situations where people have had them designed, they've gotten in with a service, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I know somebody during COVID, he's in medical and he's trying to get them to put up, important information, and they weren't doing it. So he got super frustrated. So I'm actually helping him build it so he has control over it.
Right.
And then, some other people, it hasn't necessarily had a designer involved. It's just somebody who can code and build websites,
Right.
which is fine. But again, there's, it should be a little user friendly. It's good to have the collaboration with everybody.
Absolutely.
There's a fine line between just throwing something up there and just having something pretty, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it serves a purpose, and it
Yeah.
has to serve that purpose. Otherwise, in my opinion, it's worthless.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing. You can go on the cheap, but I got to tell you, one way or another, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if
You
you go on
will.
the cheap, yeah, you'll go on the cheap and you'll pay for it. And then you'll have to pay somebody else, just like this gentleman's doing with you, Diana. Now he has to pay you to help him figure out how to get him in, where that just shouldn't be the case. Like a good web designer should finish the website. You should know how to get into things. Like I know how to, I don't do anything else on my website but put photos up. I rearrange them. That's all I do.
Yeah.
Everything that has to do with code, I have my professionals do that because it's just worth it. I mean, it really is. And then you do it right the first time, it costs you a whole lot less money. You don't think that it does in the beginning, but if you have to do it twice, that's going to pinch.
And then the other thing I'm learning, because I'm actually just experimenting with the different website building software just to see what ones I like to work in. And I think that would be easier for people once you hand over the website for them to get in and do some editing. So some of these are they're not user friendly. They're very complicated. I mean, because even one I'm working on, there's this learning curve. Like, okay, how does this one work? You're wasting time. So, I mean, it's okay for me because I'm getting paid for it. And if I'm learning, that's not really factored into my cost. That's on me because I want to learn it. But it's time consuming. So how much is your time worth?
That's so true too.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then of course, on my end of the website, it is really super important to have compelling images of yourself, whether we're showing off your brand, whether we're showing off your lifestyle. And I consider family to be part of your lifestyle. But man, I'm telling you what, just like Joanne was saying, either start with a great video, and it should be a professional video, even if it's only a minute or two at the top of your website. But then everything else that you got, if you're a coach and you want to show off you with some of your clients, if you want to show yourself speaking, those all should be done professionally for your website. You can have a couple fun, candid ones on your about page, but man, as a professional, you garner the respect of your clients when they see that you took the time to actually have professional photos. So that's something always to think about, because again, it's the same with the website. You can do it on the cheap, but a lot of times, like I had a client who now I've had for 5 years. I photograph her every year. And when she came to me, she'd had 2 photographers take her photos that she was not using because she used someone who was a little too new, somebody who didn't really know about branding. And so you've got to choose the experts. And it's funny, the people, whoever, we're all experts. And so I hire experts to do all the things that that aren't my lane. Like I don't do my social media. And Joanne and I are getting ready to talk about her helping me with my LinkedIn because I have no idea what to do when it comes to that. Could I learn? Yes. Like Diana learning how to do programming for websites is one thing. It's just like me taking lighting classes or me taking classes that hone my skills. Those are all very important. And I do that every year, much like Diana's doing with these new programs. But yeah, I don't do anything that is out of my lane. It never turns out as good as somebody who's a professional. And then I've just wasted a bunch of time and money. So
yeah,
I agree. And, you can tell, and people look you up. So there's a thought, a school of thought out there that you don't need a website. And me and Trisha were kind of talking about that before this live. And I get that to a point, like, don't let that stop you, right? So if you're going, well, I'm going to launch my business, but I don't have a website, so I can't do that. Well, that's crazy, right? Okay, so that I agree with. But when you think about people who have referred you to other people, what do? Don't you go check out their website?
every
That's
time.
one of the first things I do is I check out their website.
Yep.
I check them out on social media. I see what's going on because I don't know them. Then then I decide, do I want to call them? Is this worth my time to call them and have a conversation about whether or not we can work together?
Right.
So I think it's important to have something. So
Yes.
even if you don't have a full-blown website, maybe you just have an about page or something where people can look you up, I think is really important.
Right.
And I get like, oh, you don't need one. Well, I think in this day and age that you do, but certainly don't let that stop you. If you're starting
Exactly.
out and you don't have the money yet or whatever, the resources to go and get a full-blown website, at least have somebody help you set up a page,
Yeah.
that then
That is
they can go
compelling.
and build out from there. That can be built
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you've got a really good point, and I absolutely agree with that. I think you've got to build your foundation to then have a compelling website, whether it's, just a couple pages or not, but start, make sure you've got that foundation. But you're right. It's funny. I don't think you should stop your business because you don't have the site. You're right
Correct.
about that. But as soon as you understand all of your foundational pieces and your brand, definitely get in there and have a few, just like you said, a few pages that you can then expand on, because
Mhm.
it's true. I mean, whenever I'm looking for anyone, like just recently, I was looking for someone and I put it up on an eWomen page. I have 12 people to talk to, and I am going to go and look at every one of their websites, every one of their Facebook pages, and I'm going to decide if I actually then want to interview them. And so, I mean, that's a really good example. It's like, you know what? You've got to have something that people can go look at. Or at the very least, if you've got your Facebook for right now, that's active. It has to be
Yeah.
active. Like I went and looked at somebody's Facebook page. The last time they posted was in 2019. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was not impressed. I don't mean to be mean, but I just wasn't. It's like, come on, you can do a post once a week,
Yeah.
even if it's just something silly, like today, I think I put up something that was like, this year, what I'm thankful for is elastic waistbands. It was just silly, but it's important to stay in front of people and make people laugh. So now,
Yeah, okay. I guess I should be posting on my business page more, which I just set up.
Diana, you're in
I'm
trouble.
always on the personal. There's lots of stuff on there.
That's funny. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Trisha. I know.
Absolutely.
Don't you love it?
Well, what my social media person taught me was to post in my business page and share to my personal. So I've gotten a lot better at that.
That's good.
Yeah. Because that
Yeah,
really
because
helps.
otherwise no one sees it unless they go directly to your page.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so to expand on the website, once you've got that awesome website, you then of course want to start capturing emails, and you want to start, getting prospects to opt into something. And so, Joanne, talk about how important opt-ins are and how easy it actually is to start.
Sure. So it's very important, obviously, an opt-in. It's great to have a website, but if you're not capturing, again, VP of marketing, right? And so marketing and sales, right? They go hand in hand, right? They're two, as I was saying, they're like conjoined twins.
Yeah.
They're separate, but they're joined. They need each
Right.
other. So it's very hard to get sales without doing any marketing. So
Right.
you want to capture those people who are interested in what you have to offer. So an opt-in is, the box basically on your website, but it's something of value that your community would find valuable, that you trade for, you give them for free, and they give you your name and email address. It's as simple as that. It's an ethical bribe to get their email address. And it's, again, something of value. An example might be an ebook, a video series about something. Maybe it's a free short meditation, just something that your community would find valuable. And so, we all know what a sales funnel looks like, right?
Right.
Marketing's the same way. So your marketing funnel, so it's wide at the top and you want to get as many people in as possible. And that's what your opt-in does. Not all of those people will be your ideal client, and that's okay.
Right.
And Um, but some of them will be, and they'll move down, you move them through, and that's for a future coffee talk on how you move them down
Right.
through. But
Absolutely.
you want to get them in, you get their name and email address, and they have told you, hey, I'm interested in what you're saying. You can please market to me.
Right.
Exactly right. You have their permission. On the odd chance, it's probably not going to happen, but let's just say that Facebook and LinkedIn shut down tomorrow. How would you talk to those people? You just lost all of those people that you're talking to. So the goal is to get them to your website, to get them back to your website and have them opt in so that you own that list, you have their permission, and you can, talk to them through emails, and then hopefully, they're interested in what you are actually, your product, your whatever you're selling, that they're interested in that, and they would make a great client. And that's how you grow your list. I'm sure people have heard, it's the important part is your list of your business, because those people have given you permission. You do have permission, and they will, if your emails that you send out, if your communication to them is engaging, and it's about, WIIFM, what's in it for me, because it's about your client, right? It's not about you. It's their pain point and how you can help them, then they will open your emails. And so you want to communicate, you keep communicating with them. Now, on your website, you want to have a clear call to action. And Diana touched upon landing pages. So there might be a time when you have more than one opt-in. And I would suggest then that you only have one on your main page, and then create landing pages for any others. If you have too many options for people on your website, they get confused, they don't know what to do, and they won't do anything.
Right.
So they'll just leave.
Joanne, can you give an example of, so you've got an opt-in on your website on like your homepage, and then give an example of so maybe that's like 10 tips on how to do be better.
I have a perfect example.
Tell me. Tell me.
So I love health coaches because they're so easy to use for examples in marketing, I think. So for health coaches, right, you've got the mindset piece, you've got the nutrition piece, you've got the exercise piece, and there could be some other things. I'm simplifying this. So let's say you've got the nutrition piece on your website on the main page. Let's say you've got 7 recipes to, depending on who your market is, let's say you've got 7 recipes to hide vegetables in food so that your kids eat them, right? So you get more vegetables to your kids. So that might be your opt-in on your front page. Okay. So, busy moms are maybe that's your target. Your ideal client is a busy mom. So great. The people who are wanting more about information about nutrition are going to opt into that one. So then you might have a landing page, which, as Diana said, is a page on your website that has one focus. It's one focus. You need to do something. So then you'd have a landing page about exercise. And maybe you've got a series that you're giving away, or maybe you'd even do a challenge that you can promote on social media and drive them back to your challenge page, your landing page, where you're doing, 2 weeks of, high intensity training and, just a workout challenge where you're doing something every day for 2 weeks.
Or so like here's a 2-week challenge for busy moms to get exercise in.
Yes. Yeah. Teach them how they can fit that into their busy day. Yep. That's cool. And then the last one could be about mindset and how taking care of yourself is not selfish. How do you take care of yourself and find that time, and also exercise? Why it's important for you to take care of yourself. It's like on the airplane, right? If you're with a child, put your mask on first and then do theirs for the air, for
Right.
the oxygen, because you can't help people if you're empty, right?
Yeah.
So you can't grow awesome kids if you're freaking empty, right? If you have
Right.
nothing to give. So there might be something about that. That might be an ebook or, an audio series, whatever that is. And
Cool.
so, yeah. And so, and what's else is cool about that is then you segment your market. So you've
Yeah.
got people coming in about nutrition. So that's what they're interested in. You've got people coming in about exercise, and that's their interest. And then you've got mindset people coming in. So you've got 3 different lists now. And you
Wow.
can target those people specifically on what they want. And maybe you've got this awesome program. It's your big high-end program that melds all of that together. And eventually you'll work them through
Them
your
in.
funnel down to that program that covers all of it. But in the
Wow.
meantime, you can talk to them specifically about what they're interested in. So
Wow.
very important to have an opt-in and again, separate that.
Right.
And then again, another future coffee talk, we can talk about how you do that, how you move them through.
Right. Absolutely. That's awesome. Well, and you are the opt-in queen, aren't you?
Yes, yes. It's important, it's about building community and as Sandra says, loving on your prospects.
Exactly.
The love, and that's how you do it. So yeah.
Exactly. And not loving on them too much.
No.
Yeah.
Not
Like
annoying them.
the whole Black Friday through Cyber Monday.
Oh,
I mean, I have people that have sent me easily between Friday and today, even 10 emails through this week. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, if I wanted it, it would have hit me the first time. So,
Yeah,
but I guess
maybe the second is a reminder.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I know Joanne knows, all of that too, to help people make sure that they're not over loving.
Correct. And it's funny you say that, because I heard from people I haven't heard from in months. I got emails from people about Black Friday specials and Cyber Monday that I hadn't heard from for months. So it's like, oh, really? Okay.
That's the other thing that I don't know why that bugs me so much too. It does though. It's like, hey, like just keep in touch with me once a month, and then I'm cool with you Cyber and me, know. I mean, I just deleted. It's not that big of a deal, but it does bug me that like people that I haven't, it's like, that's why it's so important to have someone like you, Joanne, and someone like you, Diana, helping to like make sure your website is great, make sure your opt-ins are that you're keeping up with your clients on your email list. That's one of the big things that my assistant and I are working on right now is opting in all the people that I've had on my list for years to say, hey, you know what? We want to let you opt in. We're not going to just send you an email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Make sure they opt in. Don't ever buy a list. Don't ever. Oh, and please, to the crazy people out there, stop doing this. Just because we're connected on LinkedIn doesn't give you permission to email me. Do you guys get that? Like all of a sudden you connected with somebody on LinkedIn or Facebook, and all of a sudden you're getting their emails, and you're like,
ooh, yeah,
no, I don't think so. Don't do that.
No, because you never get any business from that. That's what people
that
don't
just
understand.
ticks people off. It's about relationships. You've got to build that relationship.
It's so true.
If you don't pick up anything else from me, please pick up that tip.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's all about relationships. I actually had a call yesterday with a sales coach who we were just getting to know each other. We'd seen each other on a couple SBI or, a couple of strategic business introductions. And it was funny at the end, she works with newer clientele. And she said they would be very disappointed that we were ending this call and neither of us tried to close each other. And I was like, oh my God, like I just wanted, it's so funny because it's like, I think Kevin Knievel talks about it. He's like, or actually I hear it a lot. It's like, this is our first date. We're not going to go have sex right now.
Exactly. Or we're not getting married. We just had dinner, and now let's go get married.
I know, it's like, no, like, let's have a
No.
couple more dinners, you know,
Yeah.
let's,
Yeah. Can I
yeah.
get to know you? Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, building relationships is, if someone wants to ask me about photography, fantastic. But I always
Mhm.
go into a first meet as, hey, this is just to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And there'll be plenty more of that because it's too much for people. And you can do
Mhm.
that in emailing as well. And so,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
build relationships. And we'll be talking more about relationship building in future coffee talks. So, any final words from you ladies?
Um, no, other than I have a college student home, so he kind of photobombed us a little in the back of the glass something. So just that's who that young man was, grabbing his
The
schoolwork.
beauty of live.
I know.
The
Yeah,
beauty of live
and
video.
and the pandemic, right?
Right. Exactly.
People coming
Everybody's
home.
exactly. It's okay. We love your
Yeah.
kiddos.
No,
So,
yeah, totally off subject, but just had to add that in.
there you go. All right. Well, hey, thank you ladies for being here and thank you for all the
Thank
good
you.
information. And we'll be back the first Thursday of January and we will be talking more about marketing collateral and we will be talking about social media and of course brand and lifestyle photography. So come get some more education. We'll give it to you. We're giving you the nitty gritty from the power circle of coffee talk.
Yay!
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Uh-huh.